Bienvenidos, bonvinda, bienvenue, and welcome to the Sanitation Innovation Fund Poop Tank Lake Victoria Edition World Toilet Day Special. Or as we call it here, the Lake Victoria Pooptank. It is 4 p.m. East Africa time on the 18th of November, 2022. My name is Anthony Kilbride, and I'm your host for today's Poop Tank. We focus today on the poop that flows into Lake Victoria, Africa's largest freshwater lake and home to over 40 million people in the 5 countries of the lake's basin: Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi. If the poop continues to flow into Lake Victoria as it does today, we will be in trouble. The effects of the lake's deteriorating water quality can be fatal for humans, for fish, for biodiversity, and for the health and prosperity of communities throughout the lake's basin. One thing is certain: a dead Lake Victoria spells disaster for the entire East Africa region. The catastrophe is just around the corner if we do not change. Change means embracing innovation and rewarding innovators. Today, on the eve of World Toilet Day, we celebrate sanitation innovation around Lake Victoria by learning about the innovation journeys of the Poop Tank innovators. The theme of this year's World Toilet Day is making the invisible visible. We have shown at the Poop Tank that all around Lake Victoria, there are innovators with ideas and passion. Without support, they may remain invisible, and their ideas may never see the light of day. The Poop Tank is here for them, making the invisible visible and giving innovators a platform to shine. Our 3 Poop Tank innovators were rewarded with prize money and technical support after the last Poop Tank show in July. If you missed that one and you need to catch up on the Poop Tank story, please go to www.pooptank.net. Here's what happened 4 months ago. Caroline Odero of Kenya won the Poop Tank gold medal and $3,000 US. Juliet Mukundi of Uganda won the Poop Tank silver medal and $2,000. And Saul Mwandosi of Tanzania won the Poop Tank bronze medal and $1,000. All innovators were also connected to a Poop Tank mentor who provides technical and networking support. It has been my great honor and great privilege to work with our 3 Poop Tank innovators. They demonstrate the dedication, the passion, and the creativity which is needed to innovate. Our 3 Poop Tank innovators are still the stars of the show, so let's give them a warm welcome back to the Poop Tank.
Poop Tank!
We welcome Caroline Odero from Kenya. How are you today, Caroline?
Hi.
Hi, notice my high-tech costume change here. Hi, Caroline. So you won Poop Tank Gold 4 months ago, and then later that very same evening, you gave birth to a baby. Incredible, incredible. And we welcome his first Poop Tank appearance, baby Warren Williams, or as we call him here, baby Poop Tank. Caroline, one way to stimulate action is to paint a picture of what will happen if we do not change. And you prepared a video for us with a dystopian vision of Lake Victoria in 2030. Let's see that video now.
Misawauru jokanyanam, an iluonga ni Caroline Odero, an jadak ma Kisumu. Onyuola kendo adongo e Kisumu. Nam Lolwe e kuma ne wagole pi. Kendo wuore na gi kwere na ne lupo e Nam Lolwe. Nam Lolwe osekonyowa jo Kisumu. Nimar kata sani en emomiyo kambi Kiwasko pi ma Uganda duto te tiyo godo e boma ma Kisumu kae. Emomiyo ka wadhi nyime gi timbe machido nam, to magi e gik ma wadhi neno e higni 50 mabiro. Rech matho e nam, pi ma olil, pige Lolwe mamuomo ka daro ji e kuonde ma ji odakie. Nam ma opong' gi chilo mag plastik, thog mag lee kaka rao monego bed ni kelonwa omenda mowuok e pinje maoko. Tuo mar aoche gi dag pi ma opogore opogore, kod kambino mar Kiwasko medo tiyo gi omenda mathoth e thiedho pi ma gimiyo jopiny. Jokanya nam oseritowa e higni gi duto te. Emomiyo kawuono an gi rech kae. Warite mondo mi odhi nyime konyowa. Warite mondo mi oritwa. Erokamano.
Thank you, Carolyn. And we should say that no hippos were harmed in the making of that video. Next, we welcome Juliet Mukunde from Uganda. Hi, Juliet.
Hi, Anthony.
Hi, how are you today?
Hi, I'm very good. I'm blessed.
Well, since the last poop tank, Juliet produced a musical baby. And if you haven't heard our poop tank anthem yet, you soon will. It has had many of us singing Lake Victoria from East Africa to the Caribbean. We will take a peek at Juliet's song later on. But for now, here is a short video, which is Juliet's call to action.
Uganda banange amanya nse Juliet Mukunde ngava mushiyake ya Cleaning Services Uganda Limited. Ekindeso wano olunaku lwa leero kwe kukubiza Bannayuganda okuuma ennyanja yaffe Nalubaale nga nnyonjo. Kubanga bwe tutakikola bw'okutuusa mu mwaka 2030 tujja kuba tetukyasobola kufuna amazzi amayonjo ag'okunywa, ag'okukozesa ewaka, ag'okukozesa mu nnimiro zaffe ssaako mu makolero. Ate kijja kwongera obulwadde obuleetebwa okunywa amazzi amakyafu n'okugakozesa gamba nga typhoid, dysentery, diarrhea n'endwadde endala bwe zityo. Era kijja kwongera omuwendo gw'abantu abafa olw'endwadde eziva mu kukozesa n'okunywa amazzi amakyafu. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.
Kuma Victoria Tasa Obulamu. I hope I pronounced that well in Luganda. Thank you, Juliet. Next, we welcome Sol Mwandosia from you guessed it, Tanzania. Hi, Sol. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Sol, you won the bronze medal, and you've done amazing things with the resources. You have forged important relationships with local institutions in Mwanza, and you've managed to connect your work to other ongoing activities. So without the same resources as Carolyn and Juliet, you've persisted and you've demonstrated courage and enthusiasm. And we have learned that Innovation Challenge prize money should be more equally distributed for greater impact. Please enjoy a short video now from Saul.
Mwandosia, naishi Mwanza. Tumekuwa tukitegemea ziwa Victoria kwenye shughuli zetu na limekuwa likichafuliwa. Kwa hiyo nimekuja na mbinu ambazo zitasaidia kupunguza uchafuzi kwenye ziwa. Mbinu hizo ni usimamizi wa sheria kwenye maeneo yafuatayo. Moja, kila kaya, jengo na taasisi kuwa na choo bora kutumia. Ya pili, uhifadhi salama wa taka ngumu ikiwemo taulo za kike. Ya tatu ni unyonyaji salama wa tope kinyesi pamoja na usimamizi wa maji taka. Katika kufanikisha hiyo, kuna mbinu ya kushirikisha jamii, na ya pili ni kutumia mbinu za kidijitali. Kwa hiyo nimehusisha MWAUWASA pamoja na jiji la Mwanza, ambapo nimeenda Igogo, nimehusisha uongozi wa kata pamoja na mitaa, na hao pia wanaenda kwenye kukutana na wananchi kwa kutumia kamati na vikundi vya kijamii. Kauli mbiu ni Ziwa Victoria tulitunze litutunze. Asante sana.
Thank you, Saul. I hope I did justice to the subtitles. That was the first time I edited a video in Kiswahili. So how lovely to hear some of the native languages of Lake Victoria being spoken by our innovators. Luo by Carolyn in Kenya, Luganda by Juliet in Uganda, and Kiswahili by Saul in Tanzania. The Lake Victoria Pooptank is all about inclusivity. Without inclusivity, the solutions we need will not be local and therefore will not be sustainable. It is my great hope that future Pooptank iterations will empower more local innovators to participate in their own languages. Opero Services of Kenya, I need a t-shirt, is the local host for the Lake Victoria Pooptank. Opero Services supports the Sanitation Innovation Fund in making the Pooptank relevant to the context in East Africa. Nuance is important when innovating. Exploring the big questions like what, when, where, how, why, and who requires local voices, local knowledge, and local common sense. Opero Services is that voice, and the Pooptank would not be here today without them, especially Edwin Marita. Please enjoy this short clip by Opero Services.
The Lake Victoria, one of Africa's largest lake by area, with close to 40 million deriving their livelihood directly through fishing or indirectly from the farming activities around the lake and its basin. However, the lake is in danger of dying due to poor sanitation and limited waste management infrastructure, leading to overflow of harmful pollutants into the water basin. To provide better sanitation for the communities relying on the lake and to promote lake-wide inclusive sanitation, innovation is needed, and that is why the Lake Victoria Pooptank is supporting innovators around the lake region with prize money, mentorship, and part marketing so that they can tackle this existing challenge. This initiative is supported by Opero and the Sanitation Innovation Fund and is looking forward to working with innovators in the lake region who can contribute to the mission of lake-wide inclusive sanitation in 2023. For more info on how you can join and support this program, visit www.pooptank.net.
Thank you, Edwin. I really think you have a glittering career in voiceovers, but please don't leave the sanitation sector. Okay, our three Pooptank innovators will soon give us a 3-minute update on their innovation journeys in the following order. First, Carolyn from Kenya, then Juliet from Uganda, and finally Saul from Tanzania. After each presentation, our expert panelists will pose questions to the innovators. So let's welcome back our Pooptank panel. Welcome Sumbi Shimwambwa from Zambia. How are you today, Sumbi?
Hi, Anthony. I'm okay. Hi, everyone.
Hey, great to see you. I'm so happy that you're here today. Sumbi, please tell us very quickly why you like the Pooptank.
Happy to be here, Anthony, first of all. The Pooptank are able to bring to the table. They're able to bring partnerships onto the table, able to bring public authorities, private sector, even as well as children. So it's really a good thing to see. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Sumbi. And we next welcome Kelvin Hughes from Ghana and the UK. Kelvin, how are you today?
How are you doing?
So, Kelvin, same question to you. What is it you like about the Pooptank?
I think it's been inspiring to see so many different approaches. We've got music, we've got sensitization with kids, we've got working with local authorities, and just a reminder that so many different approaches are needed to tackle these big challenges.
Cool. Thank you, Kelvin. And welcome back. And finally, we welcome our new panelists, Sasha Kramer, who's standing in for Linda Strandy, who unfortunately couldn't join us today. So how are you today, Sasha? And the same question for you. What is it you like about the poop tank?
Hi, everyone. I feel so very lucky to get to be a stand-in for Linda Strandy. Just being a part of this, I think what has been most inspirational for me is to see the passion of the innovators. I feel especially inspired by that on the eve of World Toilet Day. And in addition to that passion, I love the collaboration that I've seen among all the stakeholders, from the mentors to the innovators themselves to the judges. So honored to be a part of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sasha. So before we dive in to the substance of the poop tank, which is the work of the innovators themselves, let's remind ourselves of why we are here. The Lake Victoria Poop Tank rewards and empowers early stage sanitation innovators with grant funding and technical assistance, which is inclusive, agile, non-bureaucratic, and fun. The innovators have done a great job over the last 4 months to launch their innovations. To keep going, however, they need more money. The purpose of this poop tank is to provide a platform for the innovators to showcase their work and their progress, but also their challenges and their learning. Our innovators started off as competitors and were rewarded as such: gold, silver, and bronze. But lake-wide inclusive sanitation needs less competition and more collaboration. Only if we embrace radical collaboration may we accelerate our efforts to save Lake Victoria. Our current goal at the Sanitation Innovation Fund is to provide another funding round of $5,000 to each of the innovators, to continue to support them through our mentoring network, and to connect them to others who can help them grow. If this call to support Lake Victoria's innovators speaks to you, then please reach out to me at anthony@pooptank.net. As we continue our journey of innovation, remind ourselves that innovation is about stepping out into the unknown. It is a journey of exploration, which can bring success or failure or something else entirely. Let's hear how it's done from our innovators.
Poop tank.
The poop clock is ticking. So let's go now to Kenya, where we will hear our first poop tank update from Carolyn Odero from Kisumu in Kenya. Carolyn works with the utility Kiwasco, who extract water from the Winam Gulf in Lake Victoria. But did you know that the Winam Gulf frequently has the largest coverage of water hyacinth in Lake Victoria? This water hyacinth is an indicator of untreated wastewater and fecal sludge from Kisumu, but also from other towns located far from the lake shore, which drain their nutrients from pit latrines and leaking sewers into the lake through untreated stormwater. Carolyn Odero, your 3 minutes starts after this short clip showing your work with school children.
We are pointing fingers at policymakers, pointing fingers at county governments, pointing fingers at Kiwasco, pointing fingers at Warma, because of our irresponsible behaviors. We are more than just victims. We all have a role to play.
Carolyn Odero, your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Sure enough, the poop tank has been great. It's been 4 months of a great journey. I got to engage to a number of schools. Of course, my initial plan was to engage more, but because of financial constraints, I just did 2. And owing to the nature of our school calendars in Kenya, it was a bit squeezed up, so I just got to engage 2. So far, the 2 I engaged on the Global Hand Washing Day. It was such an amazing experience. We did quite a lot in terms of arts. We did drama, we did poetry, we did spoken word, just to sensitize and inform people of our role, or the children's role when it comes to preserving or conserving our lake. So far, I've managed to attract, I've been attracting quite some people have been trying to reach out. I have one, Reto Way, who reached out after the poop tank, tried to reach out and informed me of a possible collaboration. They're doing quite some good work in Nairobi, Korogosho area, and informed me that it would be prudent, it would be brilliant if we go to like collaborate. They have 12 number of schools that they've constructed, sanitation facilities, and they would wish for us to do more or less the same in those schools for sustainability purposes. So far, the poop tank, I managed to get 3,000 USD from the poop tank. I've used about 95% of the money. Currently, I'm actually looking, I've seen some work that Mukunde has done in Uganda, and I'm looking forward to doing more or less the same in Kenya. Since I was using some different type of art, and right now I intend to go into music. Mukunde did quite some good work, and in the next 4 months, I plan to do pure music. It would give me a great satisfaction, since it would be continuous sensitization. And I also wish to borrow greatly from Kilbride's work in Nigeria. Their song quite inspired me. So far, so good. So far, so good. It's been a great journey. The poop tank has been great. So far, so good. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. That was a lovely update. And we saw before your presentation a little clip there with the school children saying, "We all have a role," Niko Narole, I believe, in your local language, in Sheng. Is that right?
Yeah, that's Sheng. That's Sheng.
Okay. So thank you for that update. It was very interesting to hear how you're doing. So now we will go to our panelists. And the first question is from Kelvin. Over to you, Kelvin.
Hi, Carolina. Well done, and congratulations again. My question is about, in the schools, what have you been most happy with in terms of the changes of attitude or changes that you've seen from the schools you've been to so far?
So far, the ownership. You see, initially, like if you watch that clip that was just shared, the 15 minutes clip, you'll hear the kids saying that they're pointing fingers at policymakers, pointing fingers at the utility implementing or rather distributing water, and Warma and Wasreb, etc. But right now, they actually get to own it. They say they actually have a role to play. It is not about them seeing sewer flowing into the rivers, and then they point fingers like, this is the role of Kiwasko, they should be fixing this. They are the greatest contributors to that. And when they say that they all have a role to play, it gives me the satisfaction. The ownership is quite amazing.
Fantastic. Can I also follow up, Anthony?
Yes, you can.
And what role do they have to play, or what role can they play, the students?
One, the reason why I was using kids, I believe that kids are the greatest, the best emissaries when it comes to spreading the news in sanitation-related news. And other than that, initially when I was giving my initial pitch for the first tank, I mentioned that we as a company, Kiwasko, have been having a lot of clogging, sewer blockages here and there, and mostly emanating from the schools. And whenever we have bursts and overflowing sewers, then they get to exclude themselves. They would be quick to rush calling the water utility, the implementing company, to come and fix it. Yet they do not know that they're actually the hugest contributor, since they get to throw unwanted garbages inside the pit latrines, inside the toilets, thereof blocking the sewages. So when they say they have a role to play, they have a role to play in ensuring that they do not misuse the sanitation facilities. And when they're not misused, we will not see overflowing sewers into the lake. So other than that, the same news, they'll have to carry it home. I need them to carry it home. Since the same activities happening in school, they even happen more at home. So that is the role they have to do.
Fantastic. And one more question from me is, when the children are taking that message home, is that being well received at home, or are you having to sort of make sure they have materials, or how's that piece of it working? It sounds like you're doing really well with the students, but that one next step.
Each and every parent, when your son or daughter comes home and they have something to recite, you'd be so keen to listen, because it's amazing. The other time I was hearing Kilbride, the son or the daughter singing Lake Victoria, it's a song, it's also there, but when he's singing it to Kilbride, he's actually passing a message. We are having fun, of course. As a parent, I'm having fun, but the content, the message that the kid has, I also have to listen to it. So of course, when they get to recite the poems, they tell their mothers, "Mom, watch me say this and tell me where I'll go wrong." Then the mom gets to listen to the message, and they say they all have a role to play. Of course, even the mother has a role to play, because they use sanitary pads, they use sanitary towels, and they also dispose them in the sanitation facility. So kids are the greatest ambassadors when it comes to spreading of this sanitation related news.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Carolyn. I am very excited to hear that your next steps will be musical, building on the back of Juliet Mukunde's amazing song in Uganda. We're going to hear that coming up next. But first, we're going to go to our next panelist, who has some more questions for you. So over to you, please, Sasha Kramer.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. That was wonderful to see. And I loved seeing the kids do that recitation. I think you're absolutely right that creating engaged global citizens as they're young is just such an exciting way to go. And so along those lines, I'm curious, as you transition into doing more music, will you be working with children on that? Do you plan to kind of bring together this work in schools and work with music?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. I'm sorry about that. I intend to use children. When I said I do just, it's purely children. I work best with children. And like I said, children are the greatest ambassadors. Every other person who does not want to, who is this person who doesn't want to listen to a child? When it comes to an adult, probably someone would easily dismiss. But when it's a child, I mean, they're angels. Everybody wants to listen to a child. So of course, I prefer using kids. So in my next activity, I'll be using kids. I would still use children.
Amazing. Well, I look forward to hearing the children sing. That certainly, it melts the hearts of everyone. You're right. And I'm not sure how we're doing on time. Shall I ask one more question?
Yeah, you're good, Sasha. You can go for another 2.5 minutes, the both of you.
Okay, well, I hope that Carolyn will take up most of that. I just have a quick question in terms of the partnership opportunity that you identified. So this was schools in Nairobi that might be interested in having this sort of curriculum. Could you tell us a little bit more about it?
Actually, he reached out, and I think in Kenya, we have challenges when it comes to, we would do a project. The other time, one of the panelists asked me about infrastructural development as opposed to what I'm doing. And I actually mentioned that it's okay, it's a great thing for you to bring us the infrastructure. It's a great thing for you to bring us the facility. But what about sustainability of this particular facility? That is actually the problem. And so when Rachel reached out, I kind of figured out that, of course, they have these amazing projects. They've constructed 12 number of schools in Gorogosho, which is amazing. Of course, kids are going to use them. But what if these kids don't get to use them anyway? Or what if they get to misuse them? And at the end of the day, this great infrastructure, or rather project, turns out to be so much messy rather than it serving its initial or intended purpose. And that is where I come in with my Nikonaron initiative, because it is purely ensuring that these particular facilities are sustainable. They serve the longest or they serve their purpose and they're not misused at the end of the day. So yes, us having the project is one thing, us ensuring sustainability of this particular project is another. So that is where I come in with my Nikona Road initiative.
Thank you so much. That definitely resonates with me, and it's great to hear that.
Thank you very much, Sasha. I'm just going to follow up with a very quick question because we have a bit of time. Carolyn, you mentioned the clogging of sewers and pipes, and this is possibly due to solid waste entering into the sewers. Is solid waste also managed by Kiwasco, or is that a completely separate entity? And if it is, how can you bring in solid waste management into your messages? Because that is also a very big part of a healthy environment and a healthy Lake Victoria.
Of course, the Kiwasco as a company is not in charge of managing solid waste. But at the end of the day, we as a company get to realize that solid waste affects our operations great time, because either they are disposed into the pit latrines or they are disposed into the flushing toilets, which at the end of the day gets to hurt our sewer systems, or they end up at our treatment plants. And you know, when we have a lot of solid waste at the treatment plant, it affects, we have a biological treatment plant, the lagoons. It actually gets to affect the retention time. And so probably what will go out into the environment will not be great. So it is our responsibility to ensure that they do not end at our treatment plant, or they do not end in our sewer system, much as it is not our role to look at the solid waste management component. It is falling under the county government. But again, we still have challenges. Diapers, I know you know about baby diapers. It is solid waste. Mm-hmm. In Kenya, we have a problem because they are being disposed in the sanitation facilities. Mm. But again, you see, we have this back and forth, you know, oh, it is solid waste, but it has poop. So if it is solid waste, but it has poop, then it is the role of waste. Mm. And you're like, no, we are not supposed to handle solid waste. It is not our, we are purely handle poop. So it is still in between. And that is why we come in and say, no, we really have to sensitize, we have to do hygiene promotions, we have to do a lot of sensitization to ensure that people don't get to misuse the sanitation facilities. And this particular waste, they do not get to end up into our systems. Yeah, that is the basic that we can do, we just sensitize.
Thank you. Thank you, Carolyn. And I think you're highlighting a very important interplay between human waste and solid waste that I think people, institutions are grappling with all over the world. So thank you very much. Well done, Carolyn, and thank you.
Thank you.
We go now from Kenya across the Winam Gulf to Uganda. Wow. As we sail past the town of Jinja and the lake's outlet to the White Nile, we observe the fish landing sites with fishermen struggling to pull their boats through the invasive water hyacinth. Finally, we arrive into Kampala's Murchison Bay. Uganda's Ministry of Water and Environment described the Murchison Bay as follows. For more than half a century, the Murchison Bay has received municipal and industrial wastewater, urban waste and runoff, while also serving as the main source of Kampala's water supply. The situation has caused loss of lives and destruction of livelihoods. The poor sanitary conditions in Kampala are manifested in the frequent outbreaks of cholera, dysentery, and bloody diarrhea. People are in constant contact with pathogens, especially in the poor neighborhoods. Like Kisumu, Kampala has a mix of sanitation technologies, including latrines and septic tanks and some sewers. Interesting research from Kampala estimates that more than half of the city's greenhouse gases come from sanitation infrastructure and services. We'll put a link to that research for those who wish to understand the important linkages between sanitation and climate change. Juliet Mukunde from Uganda, your 3 minutes starts after this short clip of your amazing song, Lake Victoria.
Victoria, the source of fresh waters, waters. You give life to the region. You are our pride. Let's preserve you and natural heritage.
Amazing. I just love that song. Juliet, your 3 minutes starts now.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Juliet Mkunde from Uganda, a silver medal winner of Pooptank 2022, and the brain behind Lake Victoria song that is trending everywhere. Yeah. So let's go about the project, how far we've gone, and as far as the project is concerned. Here in Uganda, Pooptank project is going on well. We want to thank our funders, Sanitation Innovation Fund. You've done a great job in Uganda. We are proud of you. Thank you for supporting this project. Thank you for pushing sanitation to another level. And thank you for pushing the sanitation in Uganda to another level. We are so proud of you. And then, where is the project? Where are we in as far as the project is concerned? We've done songs about the sanitation, about the preserving water quality in Lake Victoria. We've been able to do partnering with schools. We've been able to do the poems, skits, and dramas that we are yet to present you in a shortest period of time. We did t-shirt printings. We've been in different interventions with government institutions like Kampala Capital State Authority. They're buying our ideas. Yes, actually to continue with music to push sanitation ahead. Not only is Kampala Capital State Authority, but also National Water and Sewage Corporation. They're calling me to come and intervene, to come and have a discussion on how to push the sanitation through the music, through the talents, different talents. Yes, and yeah, so far we are good, we are doing good. That's all we can say about the innovation.
Thank you, Juliet. You wrapped up your presentation nicely, and we can move on to some panelist questions now. I must say I'm really happy with the music, and fantastic that you're getting exposure and you're being connected to really important state institutions like the Kampala City Council Authority and the Ministry of Water and Environment, who both share responsibility for sanitation in Kampala. So that's really good news. Okay, so our first panelist question this time is from Sasha Kramer. Over to you, Sasha.
Oh, wonderful. I wanted to be the first one to say that your song makes me cry a little every time I hear it. It's so wonderful. And I'd love to know, Juliet, how did you make the song? Did you write it yourself? Did the kids engage with you? Who are your partners on doing that?
Thank you, Sasha, for that question. Actually, I was the brain behind composing the song. But yes, this choir has their trainers. I just composed the song and then gave the words to the trainer to train the kids, because they're more used to this train of theirs than me. So I just gave the trainer the words that I want to appear in the song, and then he trained the younger kids. And finally, we did a video together. We were together in the studio for guidance here and here. So that's how it was.
Amazing. Well, you're an excellent composer then. I'm curious, so when people hear the song, how will you then engage them in small actions that they can take to improve the situation? So how do you use the song to then bring people to take action?
Yeah, actually, this song has been shared to different social media platforms. My own platforms, my partners, KCCA has shared it. National Water and Sewage Corporation is sharing on its platforms. And then everyone that sees this song is like, wow, this is beautiful. So we come to get the feedback from different audiences, from different platforms where we share the song. And then like people were so much excited. And they started telling me, I wish this song was done in local language that we understand more. So actually, I got a concern that maybe if I had done this song in Ugandan local languages, it would have made more sense and went to most big audience compared to this one that I did in English. But then I have a solution because I'm the writer, I'm the composer. Next time when I'm doing this song, I'm going to make sure that there is English, Swahili, and Luganda, so that these three communities is able to get the information that we are trying to circulate to them. Yeah.
Well, amazing. I can't wait to hear it in other languages and also see the other talent that you're able to bring in. Thank you so much, Juliet.
Thank you, Juliet, and thank you, Sasha. Next question is from our next panelist, Kelvin. Over to you, Kelvin.
Thank you, Juliet. Fantastic. I'm really looking forward to hearing the rest of the songs. First and foremost, you mentioned your work in schools. Can you tell us a bit more about that and a bit more about the impacts, like what's happened with the teachers, the students, the parents? How's that worked out?
Oh, thank you for that question, Kelvin. The response is so positive. Actually, most of the schools, they are saying, yeah, thank you for the songs and all that, but we really need you to come and like preach more gospel, most especially to girl children. Actually, they are making it more broader in sanitation concerning the schools and all that. They're the ones actually selling me their ideas in how I can intervene into sanitation more than what I'm doing. So these ones who see me doing songs and they're like, but you can do a good job on teaching our children on how to use toilets. You can advise girls not to put the pads and all that. So they have started actually calling me to come and have a discussion with girl children on how to keep the sanitation at school at par.
Okay, thank you, Juliet. We go now from Uganda back across the Murchison Bay and south towards Tanzania. Tanzania is the country with the longest shoreline on Lake Victoria and is the home of Saul Mwandosia, our Tanzanian innovator from Mwanza. The Mwanza Gulf is another of the lake's shallow waters, which suffers from a degradation of water quality. Water quality monitoring in the Mwanza Gulf regularly detects dangerously high levels of blue-green algae or cyanobacteria during the dry season. Mwanza is home to the Rock City, a low-income area where simplified sewerage has been implemented as an innovative sanitation system, which addresses public health challenges such as Mwanza's 2016 cholera outbreak. Saul Mwandosia, your 3 minutes starts after this short clip of the communication materials you produced in conjunction with Mwanza City Council and the water utility Mwawasa. Great to see such a collaboration, Saul, in your work. And I look forward to hearing about what that material was exactly. So Saul Mwandosia, your 3 minutes starts now.
Okay, thank you. As you said, my name is Saul Mwandosia. I'm based in Mwanza, Tanzania. Mwanza is also known as a rock city. So far, I managed to engage Mwawasa and the Mwanza State Council in designing communication material, especially safe sanitation behaviors on a sanitation legislation that can help to enforce those safe sanitation behaviors. So we've looked at 3 main behaviors. One is for the premises to have toilets so as we can stop open defecation along the area. And the second one is safe storage of solid waste at premises and even in the public areas. And the third one is safe emptying, but also on liquid waste management. So we have looked on that angle. And my pilot area is Igogo Wadi in Mwanza, because I wanted to narrow down. So in that way, up to now, I have printed the posters, one you have seen, and they have captured those areas. And I'm happy that the leadership in Mwawasa and the Mwanza State Council have accepted my idea and they are collaborating with me. I managed to have a session with the Igo Ward leadership, and then having a engagement session with the, we can call it sub-ward leadership. They accepted the posters and they are being able to use those posters to their people. So what is next? They want to engage community champions, because there are some community champions which are more likely to accept our interventions. But also we want to use radio so that we can expand more, and having some community engagements like meetings, but that one can be done by the local leadership, and that was their initiative. And then in that way, we have come up with one slogan, which in Kiswahili it is called Ziwa Victoria Anitunze Tulitunze Litutunze, which means Lake Victoria, we should take care of it so that it should also take care of us. That's our slogan. I can say there are some challenges that are still there. For example, blockage of sewer system and the waste disposal at the public areas, at which when I was presenting the intervention to the local leadership, they were happy that we have got something that we can showcase to our community, but you also you can be of help to promote safe sanitation behavior. Design some of the communication tools, and you also display some of the sanitation legislations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Saul. It's always impressive how people like yourselves can really make a change, I think, on an institutional level with local institutions, because this is the kind of change we need for long-term transformational change and sustainability. So I think it's a very ambitious of you to be addressing your innovation at this level, but it sounds like you've had some success and you've crafted a relationship with important institutions. So that's really great, Saul. I'm really happy that you've been able to do that. I'm going to invite our first panelist question from Sasha Kramer. Over to you, Sasha.
Oh, I got lucky again. Saul, thank you so much. It was great. I'm looking forward to having a closer look at those communications materials. It was a tease to see them go by, but I could see that there was some exciting stuff in there. And I think one of the things I saw was the use of a superhero. Is that correct? Was there a superhero? I'm wondering if you could tell me a bit more about who was that superhero and how do you use the idea of heroism or heroes to promote your message?
Yeah, okay. Yes, I work with the SNV, and we have a campaign for urban sanitation, which is called the Mazingira Safi Maisha Bora, which means clean environment, better life. So we designed that superhero, especially for the schools and the communities. And then you can see the costume, the dress. It has the color of our national flag. So the superhero should feel a proud Tanzanian. So I adopted the superhero from our campaign in SNV.
That's
Yes.
wonderful. And then one follow-up question. So in your work with Mwawasa, was it these three communications tools that you put together? Was it you that came with the idea of what you wanted those three to be? Or was it through discussions with them that you decided on those three topics?
Yeah, the first one is because in my job, I support Shinyanga and Shinyanga, which are not in here. I'm just based in Mwanza, but I used to work in Mwanza. So I have some network, and my office is in Mwawasa building. So I decided to contact Mwawasa people, and they accepted my idea. But ICNB, we have a long relationship with Mwanza State Council because we are supporting some of the council in the previous years. So it was easy for me to present my ideas, and they are happy because they feel that I'm also supporting some of their responsibilities.
Wonderful. Thank you, Saul.
Yeah.
Thank you, Saul. I'm going to sneak in a question before I hand it over to Kelvin. And my question concerns the part of the poop tank support, which is not money. It's the technical assistance, which we are able to offer to you through our network of mentors. So yourself in Tanzania, and also Juliet in Uganda, and also Carolyn in Kenya were connected through the poop tank to mentors. And I'm wondering if you could tell us about that. How did that support help you? What were some of the, and what were some of the challenges there?
Okay, thank you. I'm happy that you linked up me with the three mentors, and they have been able to be in contact with the two mentors. One is Alex Ndama, and the other one is Beda. And when I develop something, I normally share with them through WhatsApp. It is easy way to communicate. So they normally enrich my ideas. For example, Beda said maybe I should also address the cause for having waste disposal in our area, and then some of the consequences if we are not properly managing our waste. This one should be addressed to the leadership and the community. I accepted that idea, so I'm happy. I am getting some of the support from those mentors.
That's great news. I'm really happy that that's happening, Saul. And I hope similarly Carolyn and Juliet are getting some support. We didn't talk about the mentors with them, but I hope that's going well for them too. Let us now go to Kelvin. Kelvin, question from you for Saul, please.
Just one quick question from my side. Saul, you mentioned about the community champions and the radio and the engagement meetings with the community. Just wanted to know a bit more about how you see that working, especially the community champions.
Yeah, I've not assessed yet, but that one was the idea of the local leadership. They think that it will be easy for them to reach out to the community if they involve community champions. And they said I'm not the one to select. They know people more than I do, and they are very close to their people. So I left to them. So I said, okay, if we want me to support, to give backstopping, I'm available. For example, let's say I'm told that there's some blockage somewhere within the ward. I requested for the photos so that I can make leaflets and the posters just to trigger the community for action. And then if something changes into good, they can also take some photos and share with me. I can also make some photos or something that could could draw some attention for the community to talk and make a action. So in a way, I said, okay, use the facility or the resource that you think can work for you and not for me to decide. So that was the idea, and they have started to engage community champions, but have not yet assessed it.
Thank you. I think that's the time, Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Kelvin, and thank you, Saul. So that's a wrap. Thank you very much, Saul, and that concludes our innovator presentations. Thank you, innovators and panelists, for packing in so much information into a short time. Here is my understanding of where the innovators are. Each innovator has embraced the principles of inclusive sanitation. For example, they recognize the power of partnerships and have chosen to collaborate rather than compete. They recognize that sanitation is a public benefit and that collaboration with their local public institutions is essential for their innovations to grow. They recognize that toilets alone will not save Lake Victoria, but that toilets must exist as part of a sanitation service chain, which manages human waste all the way to safe treatment and disposal or reuse. Saul Mwandosia of Tanzania has developed communications tools in conjunction with a local utility and the local city council and local community champions. He is now primed to undertake the next part of his innovation, which is to use these tools together with digital tracking devices to pilot smart enforcement of public health regulation. Juliet Mukunde of Uganda has put Lake Victoria's water quality problems into the minds of everyone who sings, Lake Victoria, the source of all our waters. Excuse me for that embarrassing ditty. The success of the song has given Juliet visibility with other partners who can help her replicate the song in other languages and use the power of art to influence a broad range of stakeholders, from school children to policy makers. Carolyn Odero of Kenya has given Lake Victoria's next generation of change makers belief that their action can have an impact and ownership of their lake. Carolyn's work in schools will provide the lake with a new generation of empowered citizens with a strong sense of environmental justice. Saul, Juliet, and Carolyn, I am truly humbled by your work. I now turn the stage over to you for your final words before I close this World Toilet Day Poop Tank. Saul, final words from you, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm happy that I'm being given an opportunity to collaborate with the Mawasa and the Mwanza City Council, but to some extent, I also got some phone calls and some discussion from Ministry of Health, and they are here to support my innovation by advising me. So I'm happy even for you, Anton, because you gave me this chance to showcase and to make contribution to my community. What I'm looking forward is to take innovation to a next level where I can be able to contribute in a system change, especially in sanitation. Even though it's going to be something little, but I would be happy to see my contribution on the system change in Tanzania, so that we can improve the quality of water in Lake Victoria, which we mainly depend for the people in Lake Zone, and even in our neighboring countries. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Saul. And let's remember that little actions accumulate to big movements. So all little actions are valid. Juliet, is Juliet still with us? Juliet was having problems with her phone. Juliet, if you're still with us, I will turn the stage over to you. I think we lost Juliet, didn't we? Edwin, is that correct?
Yep, she dropped off the call.
Oh, Juliet dropped off the call because, unfortunately, that's the reality of life in Kampala. People don't always have power and electricity to charge their phones. But what we will do is we will get a final update from Juliet afterwards and make sure we don't miss that.
In the beginning of the project, we had promised to boost our social media platforms in order to get the followings for our messaging. But then I came to realize in due course that it wasn't necessary to boost the social media platforms, but it was necessary to package the information in a way that is precise, simple, for the audience to understand. And then people would follow you very willingly. So it's not all about boosting social media, but it's all about packaging, how you package the information to reach the certain audience, the targeted audience. So I'm very passionate about making sanitation something very great in this world, starting with Uganda and East Africa. For God and my country, thank you. Bye-bye.
Her name is Lake Victoria Pooptank. She's dirty, poison. Oh my love, with oil and sewage covering her face. How I wish I can clean her, but alas, she's simply too big for a one-man's job. Her hair has plastic ripped into her locks. Her eyes have lost their vibrance from before poo-poo spilled over into her mouth, flooded her face into non-existence until it was nothing but pollution. The garbage, the filth, it has torn her down. My love, how can I stand in all this filth? Please, let's save her. My love, she's dying. Preserve the water like to filter the waste. Make her eyes shine with the vibrance once again.
The final word before I close the poop tank now goes to Carolyn Odero. Over to you, Carolyn.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Super excited that the second phase of Pooptank has actually come to reality. And I'd like to say that the 2022 Pooptank resonates very, very well with this year's World Toilet Day theme, which is to make the invisible visible, protecting groundwater. And I'd like to say that I'm very, very much committed to this noble cause. And given the $5,000 I intend to make it even better, spice it up. And I also intend, like I said earlier on, I intend to use songs as part of my art at work to sensitize people. I like what Juliet did. And you encouraged us to do collaborations, now to borrow greatly from what she has done and from what the work she did, the songs she did in Nigeria. So this, I'm still going to use kids as my main emissaries. Lake Victoria is our life. Lake Victoria is our pride. We indeed need to protect it for it to continue protecting. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Right, before we wrap up, we would like to invite some feedback from you, the audience. Just as the innovators are learning and adapting and changing, the Sanitation Innovation Fund must do the same. What do you think the next poop tank should look like? What changes would you like to see? How can we maximize our impact for the benefit of lake-wide inclusive sanitation in Lake Victoria? These are some of the big questions which we continue to explore with our innovators But today we simplify the discussion with just 2 questions, which you can see on your screens now. Please add your votes to the online poll, which you should see on your screens now. There it is, question 1 and question 2. As you click on your answers, remember this: we need a global response to the global sanitation crisis. The Sanitation Innovation Fund is committed to supporting inclusive sanitation systems with tailor-made sanitation innovation challenges around the world. Plans are already underway for a Brazil poop tank and a Zambia poop tank. If you think that a context or a technology would benefit from a poop tank, then please do get in touch with me, Anthony, at pooptank.net. Okay, we need to close the poll and move on. And I can see that people want more poop tanks. Will it be every year? Will it be every 2 years? We'll have to decide. And I can see that a lot of people are also encouraging us to consider other pollution sources, like solid waste, like plastics, like industrial wastewater discharge. That is an interesting response. So more of you would like to see a broadened scope rather than just keeping it about human waste and sanitation. Interesting stuff. I will leave that poll running in the background as I wrap up the poop tank. Thank you to the audience for showing an interest in Lake Victoria's sanitation innovators. I look forward to welcoming you back again in 4 months' time on the 17th of March, 2023, which is St. Patrick's Day, when we will conclude the 2022 poop tank. I thank the panelists, Sasha, Sumbi, and Kelvin, for your support and your participation today. I thank Edwin Marita of Opero Services in Kenya, who continues to make sure that the poop tank remains relevant to the Lake Victoria context. Thank you, Edwin. I thank our mentors who have been working quietly in the background and remain committed to supporting our innovators for another 4 months. And most importantly, I thank all of our poop tank innovators, Carolyn Odero from Kenya, Saul Mwandosia from Tanzania, and Juliet Mukunde from Uganda. Through your passion and your creativity, you are the protectors of Lake Victoria's water. The poop tank exists for you. Through the ups and downs of innovation, remember this: keep pushing for the change we need and never give up. We are with you all the way. That is the end of the poop tank. And today is also the conclusion of the COP27 in Egypt, where world leaders have been discussing climate change. Decisions taken at COP27, or perhaps a lack of decisions taken at COP27, will have a direct bearing upon the future of Lake Victoria and its people. It seems like only yesterday that the world was celebrating the Paris Agreement, the agreement to limit global warming at the COP21. That was not yesterday, that was 7 years ago. 2030 is 7 years ahead. In the past 7 years, we have not been radical enough. How radical we must become in the 7 years ahead. Time is running out. Be well, be kind, be radical. Goodbye.